Hello and welcome to part 2 on the Mark 10. Wow, do people love a Jag Mark 10, which is really encouraging. Nice not to be wrong. Although saying that, I was wrong. The Mark 10 ran to 1966, not 64, and then it became the 420G. So thank you for all those that were quick to correct on the first video. So we left off with it up here on the ramp. So what we're going to do now is we'll run through as we break this down, strip it down. We might touch a little bit on the process of that, in as much as we've got all the lovely wood and things in there that all need protecting. So everything as it comes out is bagged, tagged, labelled, bubble wrapped. We've got a nice big storage area upstairs where everything's on its own shelf, wrapped up securely out of the way. Strip down all the trim. We've got a vast array of the blue storage boxes. So yeah, everything's broken down, labelled up, and then we start the lovely, laborious task of removing the paint and seeing what we find underneath. So we'll get cracking on with that. Moving forward, we're starting to strip down the interior. These are quite straightforward. I mean, they look quite, well, they are plush, lovely places to be. But the construction method is quite straightforward with these old Jaguars. We quite enjoy breaking these down. Door cards all broken down without any issues whatsoever. Helped by the fact that they are recent door cards. And they're in great shape. So they've come apart without falling apart, which is quite unusual. We've got our packing kit here, some bubble wrap, plenty of brown paper, masking tape, and the ever reliable Sharpie pen. So we just make sure everything's bagged and tagged and ready to go. Just pause now because we're about to take the door frame apart. Where these doors go together, you've got the lower section of the door, upper chrome frame, which is a removable component, so we just end up with a lower door then. So we just thought we'd pause here. Whilst their simplicity is a charm, to make sure everything fits, Jaguar is shimmed. Anyone that knows Jaguars will know that everything goes together with a shim. So when you're breaking this down, it's important to just check. For example, at the front of that quarter light there's 2 big packing spaces. And then there's 1 big packing spacer in the middle mount. And then down the end here, there's 1 hiding underneath there in the glue. So always important to make note of what's shimmed and how many shims are holding everything in place. It just speeds up the process when you're putting the car back together and not having to rework all of that. Okay then, we've got 1 door. Well, we've actually got 2 doors stripped down. So we'll just have a quick look inside here. This is really nice. All nice and factory and clean, and so really nice, genuine lovely door. So we've got no real concerns going on in there. We do have this little bit down here that we mentioned in part 1. We'll clean that back and see what's going on, but it's nice and reassuring to see the inside of the frame is really good. And then over here with the driver's side, bit of a different story. That's been taken off and covered in red oxide, even though the corrosion's been left there, so there's a little repair to do there. Nothing too exciting or major with that one. But this door has been repaired as well. If we look inside the shell, just see on the top there, it's had a piece let in all the way across the bottom there. So we'll see what that's like once all the paint's off. You can see there that it's only been spot welded all along there. It's not a continuous weld. It's a big lap joint as well, but we'll reserve judgment on that until the paint's off. We'll get all the paint off, assess what's to be done on the whole of the body, and then we'll sit down and have a chat with the owner. Okay, as you can see, the paint stripping is well underway here. And we're seeing just how good a job actually this was when they did the colour change. You can see here the white, the primer, an etch primer, and then bare steel. So when it was done, when the colour change was done, they took the outer body back to bare metal anyway. We're not finding any evidence here. We know the car was opalescent gold. There's documented evidence of that, and you can see it in the boot and under the engine bay. But the outer body, they really went to town and did a nice job. So Bo's using two methods here. We've got all the apertures, as you can see, taped up, putting the Snarchum paint stripper on, which is making a real nice job of getting this off actually. You can see down the bottom of the door here, we know from stripping the doors that these driver's side doors have both had a repair on the bottom half. So you can see here we're getting into filler work, so that'll take a little bit more effort to get off. But mostly Bo's getting all of the top layers off like this, and then once the bulk of the paint is off, I'll come around this side, leave him to it. Once the bulk of the paint is off, he's then going over with the DA with an 80 grit, just cleaning up. And so far, it's looking like a really nice Mark 10 body shell. So we'll cut back once all the paint's off and be able to see how we've assessed this and what we need to be doing. Okay, as you can see, Bo's been cracking through getting all the paint off of this, most of the paint off of this. We've still got some bits to go, obviously. The scuttles, we still need to take the paint off of there, and at the back on the scuttle, we need to take the paint off of there. But we have found what we're going to be finding. This is lovely. It's all original, there's no damage, there's no previous repairs. This is all as it would have left the factory. So that's in really nice shape. Unfortunately, if we cut across to the passenger side, it's not corroded, but testament to the size of the vehicle, it's not unusual for these to have had a bit of a knock. And clearly the front wings had quite the knock. So it's been pulled around, beaten around, and I think as a result of that, we've got corrosion here. But it's not rotten because it's rotten. It's just, it's had impact damage, which has opened up the seams and allowed the corrosion to sink in and start eating away. So I think what we're going to do with this, because it is so beaten, and I think they've cut it and pulled it and welded it, and it's just a mess, and it's all quite hard now. It's kind of set in that position with all the gas welds, bit of brazing. What we're probably going to do is template from the driver's side, reverse it, and we'll just make a new nose cone section or two sections to let in here. It's probably the easier way to go to get a better finished result. So we're, yeah, we found that there. Both front wings, as on this side now, have had a repair in this section here. And the repair is actually pretty tidy. This side's held up pretty well. There's no corrosion coming through there. But if we then whiz back round onto the driver's side, we'll see that this side, unfortunately, the repair section has gone in nicely again. It's a nice repair section here, but it's started to corrode. So, not sure why, but the why right now doesn't matter. We just need to fix it. Before I move on to the doors, it's worth noting that when this was changed from the gold to the white, whoever did it did a proper job. They took this back to bare metal to do it, because we've found no evidence on the outside of the car that this was gold. We know it was, but all the paint's taken off. Bo's cut through white top coat, primer, and some sort of epoxy etch. So whoever did it has done a really nice job. Unfortunately, all four doors have had bottoms in them. And they're not bad, but they're not brilliant. The shape's really good. They fit really nice, and they've returned all the edges really nicely. The issue, such that it is, they've just tacked them all the way along. It's a big expanse, so there is quite a bit of distortion in there as well. There's a big low here. And again, if we come down here, a couple of people have had a go at this, I think, because we've got some heavy dent damage here as well. Again, we'll whiz round the other side again in a minute though, but the front passenger door, initially, we didn't think that had been repaired. But as we've come further and further up, we've found the repair sort of halfway up, and it's a much nicer repair than these two doors and the rear door on the other side. Just quickly sticking with this side, it's had repair section let in the bottom here of the quarter, but again they've done a nice job. It's continuously welded. There's not a huge amount of distortion, so that's been let in really nicely, and it is the same on the other side. I'll keep you busy, Lou. Come back round this side. We'll just show you this repair in the door this side. We've not grounded this all the way back, as you can see, because you can see that repair going through there, so we're looking into our options. But the front door, the repair is a lot higher. The repair's up here, and that's continuously welded all along there, and very little distortion. So whoever did that has done a really nice, tidy job. We're not concerned with that door at all. The other three doors, there's not a huge amount available for these. We have found online a rear driver's door, new old stock. It's not cheap, but that's a possibility. These other two doors, we can't get door skins. There's a few second-hand doors around that might potentially be in better condition. But what we're most likely to do now is we're going to stop stripping the doors and focus on the body. We'll probably get the doors off on the bench, get the rest of the paint off of this one, and I think we'll probably put a cutting disc straight down through there, relieve all the tension, see where we can move the skin around to, and then just seam it. Just stitch it back up again all the way along there, because it fits really nice. They've spent a lot of time making it fit. It's just they've not continuously welded it along there, and the welds that they have done have created quite a lot of distortion. So we'll see if we can improve upon that. But for now, our next step is going to be to get the repairs on the body done. So both front wings will get repaired. Bo will carry on, get the rest of the paint off of here, and then we want to get it into epoxy as soon as we can. So hopefully in the next 3 days, we'll get this into epoxy. Get a good degrease down, we'll hit it again. Although it is bare metal, we'll hit it again with a 180 because we are starting to oxidise a little bit in places. Degrease again, bake it in the oven for an hour, then we'll get the epoxy on it. So we're nice and dry, nice and clean, free from rust, hermetically sealed, ready to move on. So we'll get the panels off, do those on the bench. We'll get the body into epoxy is our next step. With the near side wing now all done, you've just seen a couple of small little repairs put in there. There really isn't a lot left to be doing. So we're cracking on now with this little bit of corrosion that was down here. Now, as you've seen, it's corroded through here. We can see it. Someone's put in a nice repair here, but it's obviously quite an old repair. We've just got to build up a crud, and it's not rotten in here. But somehow it's just got to build up a crud within this box section. So I think we're going to get all that out. We'll get this all cleaned right back out as well. And we'll just put a little bottom corner in there. Tiny little blow through here as well. So we'll put a section into there. And that's pretty much it for the metal work on the body. I mean, we've still got the doors to do. But we'll get this finished off. And yeah, I mean, all the paint is off now. So we have found everything we're going to find. Get this done and we'll get it into epoxy and wrap part 2 up. Right, we're in the booth now. We've had it on bake for a while, got some temperature in here. The boards have gone around the whole car now in a DA, they've gone around with a wire wheel. We are clear of all paint, all oxidisation, nice dry body. All the metalwork's done, as you've seen, the front wing we've done. So that's gone in nice in there. And around this side we also have a small repair down the bottom here. So that's gone in as well, pretty tidy. We don't usually repair a repair, but the repair was really nice. Just that front corner of it down there had rotten away. So with that cut out, we can see in behind there that all the repair, pre-existing repair, is in really good shape. So there's no need to go further cutting all that out. But as we've already gone around with the car, it's a super clean Mark 10 shell list, really nice condition. It has had some repairs in the past, most of which have been quite well done on the body. That's a factory lead joint in there. If we come across the back of this wheel arch, it's had a repair let in there at some point, and another one let in there. But they're nice, continuously seam welded, and a solid, nice, clean repair. Just walk around the back on this side. Again, down here we've had a little repair section that's gone in there, but everywhere else is in really good shape. Let's had a little repair in there, but it's the original sills, all in really, really nice order. You can see all the factory lead work in here, which we're not getting involved with. That's all been cleaned up. 180 DA, ready for some Novol for classic car hybrid anti-corrosion epoxy. And we'll get on with shaping up the body, repairing the doors. Right, there we go. Mark 10 Jaguar metalwork all complete on the body, and it's now safely tucked away and sealed away under the Novol for classic car hybrid epoxy anti-corrosion layer. So next up with this, we will be tackling the 4 doors. Well, 3 of the doors, because the front passenger door is actually really, really good. So we'll get the 3 doors done. The boot lid's already stripped. The bonnet is in process of being stripped. So we'll crack on. We'll get the doors repaired, panels into epoxy. Next week, you'll see in the next video, which won't be next week, by the way. And then, yeah, we're on to the filling, shaping, leveling work on the body. And it's in pretty good shape. So, I mean, that's not going to take too long to get that squared away. There we go. We are going to call this time on Jaguar MK10 Part 2. Next week, possibly, but don't hold me to it, we might have Cadillac movement because we've got some panels have turned up. We'll see how next week goes. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you're still liking what you see, please hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. I think at the point of recording this, we've just topped 6,000 subscribers in 8 months, which is awesome. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week.